Have you ever come out of a project meeting and heard someone say, "Good meeting"? What they really mean is, it wasn't a great meeting, because it rarely is. There's a craft, a skill, an art to delivering a really great project meeting. And that's what I want to look at in this video. As project managers, as project team members, we spend a lot of time in project meetings. They are an important part of the process. And that's what makes it so critical that you do it well. You're committing a lot of resources to meetings, and run well, it can contribute massively to the effectiveness and productivity of your project team. So what are my tips for creating a really good and excellent project meeting? My first tip, as you'd expect from a project manager, is start with an objective. Know what it is that you want to achieve in your meeting. Think about the outcomes. Think about what you want to be different at the end of the meeting compared to the start. And secondly, issue an agenda. Let people know why they need to commit the time to the meeting. And at the top of that agenda, of course, state the objectives, state the outcomes that you expect to achieve. Next, invite the right people. Think carefully about who needs to be there and who doesn't. For each person you're considering inviting, ask yourself, how will the meeting be different if they are there? How will it be different if they're not there? What will they contribute? What will they gain from it? Because if the answer is not a lot, then it's not worth inviting them and using up their time when they could be doing something else important and valuable. The next thing is to make sure that you have good behaviours at the meeting, and that starts with timekeeping. And if you're running a project meeting, that means starting on time and committing to finishing on time. And if people are late and you've already started, well, that's their problem. In fact, I have a mild preference for shutting the door, maybe even locking it, as the signal that we're about to start the formal activities of the meeting. Only allow people in the meeting to use devices like phones, laptops, tablets, if they're using them either to contribute to the meeting or as a mechanism for recording their thoughts from the meeting. If someone needs to take a call, if someone needs to check their emails, then ask them to step out. It's a courtesy to the people in the room to be respectful of the conversation that's going on there. And talking about being respectful, make sure people listen attentively when other people are speaking. One person speaking at a time, no side conversations, please. And when you're in the room, be in the room. Certainly, if you're chairing the meeting, you need to be alert and attentive at all times, paying attention not just to what's being said, but to the mood of the room, looking for people who are perhaps getting confused, getting upset, getting angry, or perhaps who want to make a contribution, so that you can direct attention to the right people at the right time. And that, of course, brings me to the fact that if everyone is at the meeting for a reason, then you're going to need to hear from them, or at least give them an opportunity to speak. There are plenty of people who go to meetings and have loads of things to contribute, but don't have the confidence or the enthusiasm or the personality to push their ideas forward. Your role from the chair is to make sure those people get an opportunity to speak and get heard. And your other role, while thinking about behaviours, is to make sure that the meeting stays on topic and also doesn't kind of circle the drain, going around the same issue again and again and again. So again, stay attentive for people straying off the issue, stay attentive for people repeating what's already been said, and draw a line under those. If it's a tangential issue that is not relevant to the meeting but is important, then record it so that you can come back to it and discuss it with the right people after the meeting. And if we've already said what we're saying again, then stop the meeting, summarise and move on. My next tip is to recognise the difference between, on the one hand, a project meeting and on the other hand, a project manager meeting. Because if you have a regular project meeting and you as a project manager run it, And if you need to be away from the office, if you're on holiday or if you're taking a day out to be doing something else and the meeting gets cancelled because you're not there to run it, that's not a project meeting. That's a project manager meeting. A project manager meeting is a meeting that revolves around you, the project manager. A project meeting is for the team. It's about the project. It doesn't need any one individual to be there. Not even you, not even the project manager. And my tip, in fact, is for true project meetings, rotate the person who is facilitating it so that people get used to other people chairing the meeting rather than you, the project manager. That not only makes it the team's meeting, but it makes the whole process more robust and resilient to the absence of key people. My next tip is to summarize and draw conclusions as you go, and to write those conclusions and any decisions that are made and any actions that people commit to on a board. That way everyone can see where the meeting is, what it has agreed. At the end of the meeting, point out all of the key points, reiterate them, and remind people that if they want their own personal record, they should copy what's on the board. Keep it lively. My next tip is to shake things up a bit, to transition from one discussion to another by changing the mood a bit, by doing something a little bit interesting. Perhaps show a graphic or a slide, or start the conversation with a question that engages people. If at any point during the meeting you've recorded something that came up that was tangential, was a bit of a red herring if you like, not pertinent to the discussion that you are holding, but you think it is important, then raise it at the end of the meeting and open it up for discussion. But what if you don't have time? If you don't have time, then what you need to do is to get a show of hands for who thinks that they have a contribution to make on that discussion, and facilitate those people setting up their own side meeting to pursue the issue, and volunteer to call one of them to get a report to add it to the notes of the meeting. Finally, keep your notes to the meeting simple. Issue a list of decisions, issue a list of actions grouped by person, sequenced by order of priority, which is usually the deadline to those actions. Add to that list anything that's cropped up after the meeting that people need to know about, and get it out to people as quickly as possible. And as chair and as project manager, I would say follow up on the commitments, make sure people are doing the actions they commit to do. And if anyone has been unable to attend the meeting, make a phone call, speak to them personally, let them know the important things that they missed to put the notes into context. 2 secrets to a really good meeting are prepare in advance and post-pair afterwards. That is, follow up. Because if a meeting is worth having, it's worth preparing for and it's worth following up on. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Why not subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to make sure that you don't miss any future content from online PM courses. And in the meantime, I look forward to seeing you in the next one.